One day a few years ago, I received a call from a social worker, and she was calling to see what food assistance we could offer an elderly couple. Now, it wasn't a typical situation. They had just moved here from Italy, and they moved here because both of their daughters lived here, and their daughters were professors at UMD. Now, soon after they moved here, unfortunately, both of their daughters received offers of employment elsewhere. So one moved to the east side of the country and the other to the west side of the country. And this left this elderly couple here unfamiliar with the culture and really just to fend for themselves. Now the problem was this: their income was only about $100 over what their rent was for the month. So they had very little money left at the end of the month in order to pay for food and other necessities. And since they were so new in the country, they didn't qualify for benefits such as SNAP or housing assistance. And they needed this service so desperately. And to top it off, the wife was going through cancer treatments and she knew zero English. So it was a very desperate situation. Second Harvest was able to offer them some hope. When they first came to pick up their food, we filled their trunks. They were so thankful that they were in tears, and according to a tradition of their culture, I received a kiss on each side of my cheeks. So it was very self-satisfying to be able to help them. We were able to help them for many months until they were able to get on their feet. The gentleman ended up becoming an interpreter to earn additional income, and that helped them to transition to helping themselves more. It was so rewarding to give someone hope when they are feeling hopeless because they do not have the food to make it through the month, or maybe even a week, or through even the day. So that's where Second Harvest comes in. We can offer hope along with a smile and accomplish more than we'll ever know. We touch people's lives in a positive way, and it makes our job so worth it. It's such a rewarding thing to do. Now, in the work we do, we come across so many different and complex situations. With COVID-19, there's so many people feeling the stress of not having their family to be there to help them. Resources are very limited, and additional expenses with medical and housing leave many of our seniors without the nutrition that they need in their diet. In many situations, seniors will go without food so they can provide to help to their extended family. Maybe they're raising their minor grandchildren, and they have to pay for the living expenses for themselves and their grandchildren on a very limited fixed income. I come across situations so often where a grandparent is raising 4 or 5 of their grandchildren on a very meager income. Now, seniors living in our rural communities face other challenges, such as transportation. It's possible that they have to depend on others to bring them to the grocery store or to the food shelf. Or maybe they can drive to a grocery store or food shelf only one time a month, because they have very limited resources to pay for gas in their vehicle. I had a situation once that an elderly couple came and sat down in front of me to apply for NAPS, and they told me that they had to drain the gasoline out of their lawnmower to put in their vehicle just to get to the food shelf. It really just broke my heart to hear that. It's very desperate situations. So what I did was I took the initiative to find a volunteer that lived near them to bring them their food in the future months. Maybe our seniors can't drive themselves because they have an unreliable vehicle, or maybe in the wintertime, simply because of the snowy or icy roads. Many times I have seniors call me and take themselves off from my program, the NAPS program, for the entire winter because they don't drive in the winter. So when these things happen, it leaves our seniors without the nutrition they need. And now with COVID, many times sharing a ride with someone is not an option. So we need to really listen for cues when we are working with our participants. There are many things we can watch for in order to identify if someone needs extra help. Some people are just too proud or too nervous to ask for help. Can we ask questions that aren't too personal, that we can still ask, that can identify areas that we can offer help? We have to listen to the conversation. Take time to actually hear what they're saying. Do they indicate that they can use more help with nutrition or other services? Do they indicate that transportation is a problem? And we need to be familiar with the resources in our communities that they may qualify for. Many people are unfamiliar with programs such as NAPS or SNAP. Many people assume they don't qualify, even for help at the food shelf. So we need to really educate them and be familiar with the resources. If they are in need of some non-food resources, we can refer them to 211, First Call for Help. And this is a very valuable service that can identify more services that they may qualify for. And when they utilize these services, it will free up some of their income so that they can purchase household items that maybe they are not able to access at the food bank or with their SNAP dollars. Now, I wanted to be specific in some of the nutrition resources available. First program I wanted to talk about is SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Now, this is the former food stamp program. People shy away from participating a lot of times because they feel there's a stigma attached. However, if someone is eligible, please encourage them to participate. This program has evolved through the years, and it enables the participant to access food using an EBT card. Looks just like a debit card or a credit card, and it's very discreet for them to use. You know, it's not a perfect system though. There are so many people that even though they qualify, they don't want to go through the process of applying. They feel that it's overwhelming and they don't think it's worth the effort because they think, well, I'll only get $15 or $16 a month anyhow. So I've used several different reasoning points in order to overcome this and help them to change their minds. I thought I would share those with you. One thing I tell them is that they can request a phone interview in order to go through the application process. This makes applying for the SNAP program a lot easier. I also tell them that benefits can accrue for up to 1 year. Most people don't realize this. They feel like they have to use it every single month. And I try to reason with them that even if they only qualify, for instance, $16, they can save it for up to 1 year. And they might have a month during the year that they feel like they're going to have additional grocery expenses. For instance, there may be a month that they're going to have some of their family members coming to visit and they'll have to buy additional groceries. If they were to save it up for 10 months, they would have $160. So that really, a lot of times, will change their mind. And many people, they just don't realize that they are able to save it up for 1 year. Another thing I reason with them is SNAP is an entitlement program. So it's something that they've paid into throughout their whole lives through taxes. And it's there for them now at this time of life that they need it. $16 can actually help purchase quite a bit. I thought for a minute and thought about what could I purchase with $16? Well, I'm thinking a gallon of milk, a loaf of bread, a pound of butter, a dozen eggs, and maybe a pound of cheese. So it really can purchase a lot, and it really can help. The next program I want to talk about is the program that I coordinate. It's the NAPS program, Nutrition Assistance Program for Seniors. The official name is CSFP, Commodity Supplemental Food Program. It's a USDA program that's administered through the Minnesota Department of Health. And it's often referred to as government commodities. Now, some people have a fond memory of this program as being a safety net to their families when they were younger. Their family being able to access commodities, large blocks of cheese or butter, dried milk, and things such as this. But NAPS has evolved into so much more. It's available in all 50 states and in over 50 distribution sites in just our region alone. NAPS is a program for seniors only, and they have to be over age 60, and they have to fall below 130% of the U.S. poverty level. Now, it's a resource that they can access in addition to SNAP and food shelf benefits. It's a package of approximately 30 pounds of food that they access one time a month. If there's 2 people in the household, such as a husband and wife, and they qualify as a household, they would be able to access 2 boxes of food. So that would be 60 pounds of food added to their household. It consists of healthy, shelf-stable food, canned vegetables and fruit, juice, cereal, peanut butter, shelf-stable milk, canned beans, American cheese, rice and pasta, canned meat such as canned beef or canned chicken. And this food box is packed right at our local food bank. In order to qualify for this program in our region, they would contact me directly for an application, or they could go to one of the distribution sites and ask for an application. My contact information is 218-999-4136. That is 218-999-4136. Or my email address is sandy@secondharvestncfb.com. Second Harvest is spelled out. There's a simple application process. It takes about 5 minutes for them to apply over the phone. And I have available at the distribution sites a simple application, and also at many different places throughout the community we have these applications available and on hand so they can refer people to the program. A third thing I wanted to talk about is the local food shelves. Now, in almost every community, even in some of the tiny towns, there is a food shelf that people are able to access. Now, for the most part, they all have regular hours. It might only be 1 day a month, or it might be 5 days a week. It just depends on the community. Now, the income guidelines in order to be able to access food at a food shelf are set according to TFAP, which is the Emergency Food Assistance Program. It's a USDA program, and the guidelines are 200% of the U.S. poverty level. However, a food shelf would never turn someone away if they were genuinely in need of food. Now, in the past with the food shelves, there were boundaries, and the person had to access the food in the community that they lived in. However, the boundary rule has been done away with, and a person should never be turned away, even if they are in need of food, and they are in Brainerd and they live in Grand Rapids. If they go to a Brainerd food shelf, they should be able to access food regardless of where they live. Now, since COVID-19 started, we've also had available another program. It's called CFAP. It's a USDA Farmers to Families program. Now, this program is available to anyone who needs help with food, regardless of their income, because there are no income guidelines for the CFAP program. Now, this program will be continued and available again this year between February and April. Food shelves have really had an amazing evolution throughout the years. Now, many years ago, the food shelves didn't have access to food as readily as we do now. Food shelves are really trying to offer more healthy, fresh produce options to people now. And for the past several years, we've been able to access so much fresh produce from the Minnesota farmers. It's a food that would normally have been turned under because of no resources to bring it in from the field. But by means of grants, we've been able to access this product to an incredible degree. Now, in 2020, Second Harvest North Central Food Bank out of Grand Rapids distributed 5.8 million pounds of food. Now, this is just our region's food bank. There are a total of 5 food banks in Minnesota. We have one in Grand Rapids, one in Duluth, Rochester, East Grand Forks, and Brooklyn Park. So with the efforts of literally thousands of volunteers and staff, we are able to provide hope to thousands of families across our state. Now, these are by no means the only nutrition services available to our low-income seniors, but for the sake of time, these are the only ones I chose to speak about in more detail. However, some of the other programs worthy of checking into are the local senior centers, different meal programs, and frozen meals. AEOA even offers a frozen meal delivery to our homebound seniors. So it's definitely worth a call to 211 First Call for Help to find out about any of the resources available to our seniors in our communities.